Hi guys, I'm Mike.
And I'm Steven.
And this is F1 Fanatics. Welcome back to F1 Fantasy Weekly, your place for the kind of roundup of the fantasy game every single week. Apart from maybe in off seasons, we might take breaks as there might be like a limit of kind of capacity for us to do in F1 Fantasy. So it's F1 Fantasy Weekly every week within the season, but then maybe sporadically in the off season. But it might actually still be weekly if we are doing a series like we did kind of, pre this F1 season. Did that explain it enough?
Jump in. Wait, you need to explain what F1 Fantasy is.
F1 Fantasy is the game where you get a 100 million budget to pick 5 drivers, 1 constructor, to score points every race weekend and, go against your mates or the world to decide whether your team can defeat everyone.
Oh, yeah. But this week, we are reviewing the Nürburgring, Eifel GP.
The Eifel GP.
Yes.
I was bigging up Grosjean. He didn't win the race, but he got points.
Yeah. Didn't make the top
French
5.
Eiffel Tower thing. It worked.
It worked.
The theory kind of worked.
I was bigging up Bottas and...
It didn't work. I
didn't pick him though, so sorry if you did pick him.
Anyway, in an F1 Fantasy review, what we go is going to give you the 5 top scoring drivers in a little bit more detail. We'll chat about them. And then we'll round off the rest of the scores in the teams. The top 5 constructors, because Mercedes. And I think they came out on top. It'd be interesting to see on that front. Then actually a guy who messaged me, Albin, who is a Swedish guy, came up with a very cool thing to let you know. It will be updated by now, but I've been useless in forgetting to mention it every week since before the Russian Grand Prix. But I'm going to mention it today, and then we'll finish off the Kimmy moment of the week. But anyway.
Well, and we'll do the top 5 in the league.
Top 5 in the league, of course. Who can forget that? Because that is important. That goes in between Albin's section and the top 5 constructors. But I'm going to hand you over to Stephen because I've done a terrible start.
Let's jump into the point scorers.
Yay!
Number 1. Possibly, he could have been a great Mega Driver if you did gamble it. Daniel Ricciardo with 50 points. You got your 150 if you megaed, but 100 if you turboed. Smashed it. I think, let me just check with Checo Perez. I don't believe Checo beat that. No, this is the best turbo of the season so far. So there we go. Yeah.
What about Pierre Gasly?
Actually, very true. Very true. No. Pierre Gasly only got 45 points for his race win because obviously Danny had his double streaks. Makes a difference.
Danny Ricciardo, the best turbo of the season. We said it was time for Rick, and Rick delivered.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah, he did.
50 points. Then followed by race winner Lewis Hamilton with 43 points. Second place, Max Verstappen with 42 points, obviously third overall. Checo Perez came in at number 4, 33 points. And to round up the top 5 was under the radar Carlos Sainz with 28 points. How many did I say Checo had? 33. He had 33. Carlos Sainz had 28. There we go. Quite high scoring top 5 there, considering Valtteri Bottas wasn't part of it.
Yeah, I think a very high considering.
Yeah.
Definitely some really good positions. Danny Rick.
Yes. Yeah, we said it. We told you.
We said it. We were like, this is it. You just felt good because of how Daniel Ricciardo had been driving this season. You just felt good that on the double streaks, it was going to come in big time. And, did it deliver? I wonder if anyone else did mega him and maybe turbo Checo, because I think that would have been a pretty good combo, to be fair.
Yeah, because Checo on 33 points would have got you 66. Yeah, it would have been, because the best mega one we've had so far is, I think, 54 points, and that was for Lewis and for Bottas. So he's only scored, 12 less points if you did a measure.
In a Renault.
So yeah.
Incredible.
Bam.
Daniel Ricciardo, great stuff. And just Lewis and Max, just kind of normal one. Lewis consistently scoring, getting in that top 3 of point scorers.
Yep. Lewis has only not been in the top 5 in 1 week. And Max has only not been there for 3 weeks.
And that are probably 3 weeks that he retired.
Yes, indeed it was.
So yes, but anyway, I'll hand you over. Stephen.
Daniel Ricciardo, on his race streaks, was also on his 5 in a row streak in the top 5. It's his 5th week he's been in the top 5 point scorers. That's what I'm trying to say.
Nice. You don't get bonus points for that, just to kind of give it. That's just an F1 Fanatics thing. So you chill out. Don't need to worry about that. But
yes, the rest.
The rest.
So, narrowly missing out on the top 5 was Pierre Gasly with 26 points, followed by Roman Grosjean, 17 points. Bada bing, bada boom. He was then closely followed by Charles. No, he was closely followed. I say closely followed. They were following each other in a... They both got 17 points. It's Antonio Giovinazzi. Sorry,
he got there in the end. He got there in the end.
They were closely followed by Charles Leclerc with 16 points. Lance Stroll. It was Nico Hulkenberg with 16 points. Obviously, he capped out on those overtaken points, which is why he scored only 16. Nicholas Latifi got 13 points. Kimi Räikkönen got 12 points. Kevin Magnussen got 9 points. Sebastian Vettel 3 points. Kvyat 1 point. Bottas 0 points. Alex Albon -6. Norris -7. Ocon -8. And George Russell can't count, so he went -12 instead of -9.
Oh dear, George. Oh dear. But pretty high scoring week, actually,
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
In general. And having Grosjean, Gasly, Ricciardo, Perez, Hamilton in the team, it was a pretty good return.
Pretty sick team there.
Pretty sick team. Finally, a week paid off for the midfield being a little bit more predictable.
Yep.
Well, actually, that was a quick late substitute of Lance Stroll out, by the way, because obviously illness preventing him from going in there. But yes, pretty good week. So top 5 constructors, Stephen.
That's me. Top 5 constructors. Mercedes, I'm going to do this without even looking, came top with 52 points, I believe. No, they got 53 points. Bam.
53 for the Merc boys.
Even with
doing it
one
again.
driver retiring, 53 points.
They still came out on top.
Racing Point got 44 points, I think, because that's streaks. Racing Point, Mercedes. Well, they would have got a quality streak. No, race streak, obviously. Renault got 42 points. Red Bull got 41 points. And McLaren got 31 points. So, to be fair, if you had Red Bull, Renault, Racing Point, you all did pretty well. I presume those are all streaks as well. So yeah, actually not a bad week to have an alternative in constructing your team.
No, not a bad week at all. It would have been interesting, certainly. But Mercedes still came out on top, so...
There we go.
I suppose it would have gone on wild card. But, hey, until the rules change and Mercedes stop being so dominant, again, Mercedes is the best pick that you can get every week.
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
Bam, on to the league, the F1 Fanatics League.
The most prestigious F1 fantasy league in the world. The one that everyone wants to win. The one that everyone cares about. Global League? No. F1 Fanatics League? Yes.
Hell yeah.
Top 5. Has there been some movement?
I think there has. I just need to double check as I struggle to log into the fantasy app for the 1,000th time today.
1,000th.
1,000th. This is it.
Congratulations. This is your 1,000th time of logging into the F1 Fantasy app. You received nothing. Damn.
I just need to also check one thing.
Okay.
Just checking. Yep. So when I read Sebastian's score out, I was like,
Was it that low?
Is it that bad?
Yes.
Yeah, it was. So, on to the leagues that I have joined. I have joined the F1 Fanatics League, and there has not been... there's some new names in there. I just need to remember that order. Take it... Oh, and that's the app logged out. Okay, so number 1 was Dju, DX23. He had Lewis Grosjean, Checo, Turbo Ricciardo, and he went Daniel Kvyat.
Yes, we've been speaking to David, and he was going... He just thought that on the harder compound, Kvyat would do better. He said, unfortunately, he didn't foresee that Albon would go Destruction Derby on Kvyat's front wing.
He was having a good race, and maybe the strategy would have put him ahead of Gasly at the end.
So we don't know. It could have been a good result for Kvyat. Unfortunately, Albon arrived. Boom!
Ka-chow, you could say. That moves us nicely on to number 2 in the league.
Ka-chow! Ka-chow!
By I Sin. Lewis, Ricciardo, Gasly, double racing point. I back double racing point. Hulk only got 16 points. But still, not a bad return there. I'm not saying the team's better.
I mean, it's a pretty good return.
Everyone's picked Mercedes. What are you looking at?
Funnily enough, Hulkenberg, Roman Grosjean got more than Nico Hulkenberg. Incredible, eh? Incredible.
By a point, yeah. Just because he got that teammate point in the race.
It works.
So, number 3. I don't think this is a new one to the top 5, but I'm not sure if they've been a mover in the top 5. Hulk is back again by R. Moxley.
Changes his
changed the name for this week and didn't go Hulkenberg. So I don't know how I feel about
the
that.
name.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I feel like that's a half-committed job to it.
He had Lewis, Checo, Grosjean, Turbo Ricciardo, Pierre Gasly. That looks like your team. In fact, it is your team. You both did very well there.
272, whoop whoop!
Sean Team won by, I presume, Sean Francis. Again, regular to the top 5 or fairly new to the top 5? Definitely a top 5 appearer.
He's a top 5 appearer!
And we're with the team, the 272 gang with Lewis, Turbo Ricciardo, Checo, Gasly, Grosjean, Team Mercedes. Bada bing, bada boom, you're 4th in the league.
272, boom, boom, boom!
And then number 5, Spinotto by D. Sirad. Lewis, Turbo Ricciardo, Checo, Gasly, and George Russell.
Oh, just Georgie boy let you down. Georgie boy let you down. It's tough. Kimi let you down, actually. Kimi let you down. So, there it is. The top 5 of the Fanatics League. David Zhu keeps his place at the top. Congratulations, can he hold on? But H. Ake, who had been a leader for a long time in the league, still has that Mega Driver lurking. And one of the features, obviously, in the fantasy game now, in the leagues, you can see what they've used, what they've got left in hand, whether they've got a wild card, Mega Driver, whether they've used both. And also you can see actually what they've scored points-wise, haven't they?
Yes, and every single race weekend. Yeah.
So that's a pretty good one to kind of go over analytical on people and see where you're gaining the points on them and where you've lost the points. So where you've won those places in the league and where you've lost them. Now we're going to talk about a cool feature. So for this, it was Albin, he's a Swedish supporter of the Fantasy Show. So thank you very much, Albin, for watching. Thank you, very cool for doing this. He's a bit of a stat geek, he said. But he came up with a very cool concept. So we're going to run through with it. So obviously it will be updated from now, as like I said before, I was a little bit rubbish in going there. So it was going, I'll read you the message. Hi guys, I really enjoyed.
Wait, can we have hi guys,
Hi guys, I'm Albin and I really enjoy watching the coverage on F1 Fantasy. Keep it up. We will. Thank you very much, Albin. I made a quick list covering the value of all the drivers and constructors, points divided by price, as it stands now in the middle of the season. If you want to use this in the form before you rush into review, then do it. Yikes. We're now in our Nürburgring review. But anyway, it goes from there. But yes, points returned per million F1 mid-season value ranking. So constructors, Racing Point, 23.8 points per million.
Nice.
Renault, 19.7 points per million.
Nice.
Mercedes, 17.6 points per million. But obviously they're expensive, so naturally they're still the best to have. But yeah, their points return per million is always going to be lower.
Not the most valuable.
McLaren, 16.1 points per million. Red Bull, understandably below all of those at 16 because it's mainly been Max getting the big points.
They're very expensive, yeah.
Alfa Romeo, 15.7 points per million, which is very good. Williams, 14.1 points per million. AlphaTauri 14, Haas 11.3, and Ferrari are the worst team per points per million at 6.9. Makes no sense because they obviously were the second most expensive constructor.
16.9 isn't. Yeah, I thought it'd be a lot worse.
Sorry,
than that.
it's 6.9.
Oh, 6.9.
Did I put 16.9?
I may have just misheard that.
Okay, well there we go.
6.9.
That is the constructors, but interestingly enough. The drivers, which is very fascinating.
Town in the drivers.
So topping the list, actually, let's work our way in the bottom and see who kind of tops the list. So Magnussen is minus 2.1 points per million.
Unlucky Magnussen.
Yeah.
minus points. Minus value, Jesus.
And then Ferrari. Vettel, 2.5 points per million.
This is positive.
And Leclerc, 3.8 points per million. And that's crazy considering that Leclerc obviously has been in the top 5 a couple of times with podium finishes.
On a podium, yeah.
Yeah, so
he's just because he's about 5 million more expensive or like 4 million more expensive than Vettel.
Yeah.
So that's right.
He is one of the most expensive ones from there. Giovinazzi, 5 points per million. It shows his inconsistency that he's been on. Sainz, this is a shocking one, 5.9 points per million.
He's had an unlucky season and he had a slow start as well. So, yeah.
Latifi, 6.4 points per million.
I thought Latifi may have been a bit further.
But I suppose it's because he went expensive really early.
I guess, yeah.
And so,
whereas George has always stayed down.
Absolutely. Ocon, 7.5 points per million.
We've always said his price is too high for what he is.
Yep. Albon, 7.7 points per million. And that is not a surprise at all. He has been a massive underachiever in that one. Russell, 7.8 points per million.
That kind of surprised me how Russell's that high. Because he has had an unfortunate season.
And quite a lot of retirements.
Yep.
Kvyat, 8.1 points per million. Grosjean, 8.9 points per million, making him a really great bet as the obviously cheapest driver in the game. Kimi, 8.9 points per million. Bottas, 8.9 points per million. Verstappen, 9 points per million. Gasly, 9.4.
Yep.
Ricciardo, 11.1. Hamilton, 11.8. And then it gets exciting. Top 3.
It gets exciting.
Top 3. Here we go. Perez and Stroll, both the racing points, and it's why everyone has gone double racing point, is because you get such a good points return value for the price they are. 13 points and 14 points per million. And with Norris's great start and generally consistently going there, it probably would have dropped off a little bit here. It'd be interesting to see an updated list from Albon later on in the season. But yes, 14.8 points per million. Lando Norris tops the sheet.
And I think he's the highest increase, I'm pretty sure. It's either him or Lance Stroll / Hulkenberg is the highest increase.
So in terms of value for money, if you've had Lando Norris from the start, he's been a great return for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely has. And Albin, thank you for doing that. It was and for sharing it with us. It was very positive that if you message on Instagram, both David and Albin, I think going from there, I do tend to reply as much upon the advice on fantasy game, I suppose, what we do, or just chatting about the fantasy game, because we all love F1 fantasy and it is a great stuff. It is a great feature to kind of help increase enjoyment for the race weekend.
Yeah.
Didn't know where I was going with that one, and Stephen's face was like, where's he going with this one?
I don't know.
Who knows with me? But we now round off with the Kimi moment of the week. And this one was put forward to us by Katie as a suggestion for the Kimi moment of the week, one of her favourite features of the show. And that is... we have to justify what Kimi was trying to do to George Russell to make it seem okay. Don't worry, Stephen, I've got this. So what Kimi Räikkönen has gone is... Kimi, you've seen with Giovinazzi, he's talking... As with Sebastian Vettel, he kind of took under his wing a little bit. Kimi is a supportive driver within the F1 paddock. A little known fact about George Russell, that the idea of space has always fascinated him. And, it was sometimes he loves being an F1 driver, but maybe one day being an astronaut and flying into space could be there. Kimi Räikkönen wanted to help achieve those dreams early. And by sliding in, he thought, this is mission control. Kimi Räikkönen coming in. Lift off in 10, 9, 8, 7.
George goes,
6.
No, Kimi.
5.
No, Kimi. Not now.
4.
No, Kimi.
3, 2, 1. George Russell is lift off. Ooh, but they had a failure
launch
on the there wasn't enough fuel to make them fly.
No.
The engines didn't kind of
misfire.
Misfire, it just it fell flat on its feet. But expect other trips in George Russell's pursuit of space going forward, and Kimi Räikkönen, sacrificing his own race, getting that 10-second penalty for the good of George Russell. So
the greater good of humankind.
Absolutely. George, I hope, you thanked Kimi a lot after the race, because it was such a kind thing for him to do.
George was obviously in the radio going, I gave him plenty of room to get a good launch.
Exactly.
And he just couldn't nail the launch.
Yeah.
He didn't mean anything else by that message.
No, by that message, he was like, and they cut out the bit that was meant to be aired on TV going, I just want to be in space.
Yeah.
I want to turn this F1 car into a spaceship.
Yeah.
Hey.
Honestly.
Join us next time for Kimi Moments of the Week and Kimi's Space Program, where Kimi says, Bleh. Mine. And that's what we've got for the Kimi Moment of the Week. Katie, we hope you've enjoyed our expansion of explaining explaining Kimi out of that situation, because it wasn't Kimi driving badly.
No,
it was Kimi. Ignore the driver ratings.
Yeah, ignore that. We were misinformed.
We didn't
hear the full radio
message. You F1 fantasy people, you get it. You understand. You're ready for this type of information. People who watch, some of you watch driver ratings, but there are some other people who watch driver ratings who aren't quite ready for this.
Not ready for it.
So we save this exclusive stuff for you guys, which is another reason that now this video has ended, that after you commented with everything about fantasy, your teams, how you did, whatever, get involved in the comments. Let us know how you got on. We also think that you should
like, subscribe, and ding that bell.
Ding it. And for now, you F1 fans and George Russell astronaut fans, keep racing!